Welcome back to Halloween House. Today we're going to take a hike and explore the abandoned town of Conrad, Indiana. You can visit this park by driving south down US 41 past Lowell, Indiana. You turn east on Newton County Road 725, past the railroad tracks, and you'll come along a parking area and the trailhead. If you take the North Trail into the woods, you will be able to explore parts of this ghost town.
So Conrad was founded in 1908 by Jenny Conrad, and she had this railroad line put in to run past her property to make it easier to ship her cows and pigs to Chicago. And prior to her line being added, they had to be herded to Roselawn, and which was a pretty long and dangerous journey. As you can see, the railroad tracks are now abandoned, and Conrad itself was abandoned around 1940.
And this map shows the original town plan, and we've noted locations of some of the foundations that we found. The town's roads were designed in the format of the Union Jack flag, with diagonal streets crossing the north-south roads. There's not much left of the town, but we will explore some of the sites that remain.
So there's many stories about Jenny. Most paint her to be a not very well-liked person, some calling her eccentric and disagreeable. She couldn't have been all that bad. She's obviously an animal lover. Jenny was born in 1854 and she died in 1939. She's buried at Mount Grove Cemetery in nearby Kankakee, Illinois.
It's a pretty nice mausoleum. I want one like that.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful cemetery if you ever get a chance to visit.
So this is the actual parking lot and official park sign that you will encounter. You can see behind the sign there is a trail heading east. That'll actually take you through the oak savanna. What you're going to want to do is backtrack a little bit and go to that north trail. And this is the entrance to the north trail. You're going to head into the woods, and that is where you will encounter many of the foundations.
And it's a pretty easy hike and it's a really nice hike. It's clearly marked with trailheads.
We went in the fall, so the weather was pretty nice and not too cold, not too hot. But as you can see, that trail was very well noted. It wasn't trying to figure out where it was among deer paths.
So this is the location of the last school. It was probably built around 1927, and all that's left of the structure is part of the foundation and the steps and a well. This is probably part of the town that will remain visible for the longest amount of time. A little bit of litter, which was kind of disappointing.
Judging by the size of the steps, you kind of wonder how big the school was. For such a small town, it just seems very formal to have that big of an entryway.
So this is also part of the school foundation.
It was definitely cleared around it because there aren't a lot of trees growing up real close to it. And now we're going to follow the path through the woods. We're going to head towards the site of the hotel. One thing to note, it's pretty amazing that we didn't come across a lot more remains of homes in the woods. We really don't know how many homes were actually built in the town, but we know there was a post office, a general store, church, cement block factory, a blacksmith, and a stockyard. So you would think that there would be a decent amount of homes to support all of those businesses. And another thing to ponder, it's only been 80 years since they abandoned, since it disappeared. We don't know what happened. But you just kind of got to wonder, why aren't more parts of those buildings standing? Were they demolished? Was there a fire? You would just think that there would be more parts of maybe stone or brick walls intact.
And through some further research, we've also found out that there was a dance hall and a gas station in Conrad. So I wouldn't imagine it to be a very small town.
Yeah.
So if anybody has information on, why it was abandoned, we'd love to hear it.
And even though it's down 41, which we kind of consider to be a rural area, it's still close to Lowell and Morocco. So it's not way out in the middle of nowhere. It's still close to some towns.
So this is the foundation to the hotel. It had 18 guest rooms. When you walk around the foundation, you might wonder, like we did, how do you get 18 guest rooms in this small foundation? But as we looked at the photo of the building in its heyday and comparing it to the foundation, somehow they did. And if you look carefully, you can even see the concrete that was laid for the posts on the front porch.
And it was a 2-story frame structure, so that obviously wouldn't last as long as a brick or a stone structure, but it does have a very distinct foundation still left, and those trees growing in it are definitely very old. So it's pretty sad that it was gone so soon.
So this is towards the rear of the foundation. We believe this to be the cellar because there are stairs going down and it's a little deeper set than the main foundation. So we just assume it's the cellar for
Well,
the
and
hotel.
yeah, and being below grade, they could store meat or milk or anything else that they needed. And you can see that extension on the back of the building there.
And what we think is an outhouse way in the back there.
Yeah, maybe this photo was taken at the dedication or some other gathering, because why would everyone be posing in front of it?
A wedding, perhaps.
Looks like it was just a dirt road. But we're going to go ahead and follow the trail again. We're going to go towards the railroad tracks. It's not a very far hike to go back to the railroad tracks. And then we're actually going to move along the tracks. You can see on the left is the trail. And we are going to encounter the remnants of the depot. And if you aren't paying attention, you will walk right past it. As you can see, there's not much left of the depot foundation, unfortunately. I'm willing to bet within about 5 years that entire foundation will be gone. I don't think that they're trying to preserve the pieces of the town. They're trying to let nature take back over. But with so little left of the building, again, we're wondering, why is this building not still standing? In the picture that you'll see in a moment, it was a stone building.
It is a solid structure. Yeah. So where did it go? I mean, why wouldn't there be even some of the blocks? I don't know.
Or a partial wall.
Something. I mean, 80 years isn't a long time in the span of things. I mean, looking at the picture, it looks like it should still be standing today.
Mm-hmm.
So the church and the post office would have been located on the other side of the tracks. But there didn't appear to be any, marked trails in that area, but we might go back and take a look and see what we could find.
There's a lot of really cool looking old oak trees, so this was one of them we thought was interesting. And if you're looking to get outside and take a hike, that trail loop is only about a 2 mile walk. So if you're wanting to get out for a quick hike, it's easy to navigate, and maybe you'll find more ruins or just be one on one with nature.
So this is what would have been the post office. Again, no trace of it, no foundation that we could find. Solid structure made of stone. I don't know why it wouldn't still be standing today.
Just boggles the mind.
It does.
There's the church.
Again, look at the solid foundation, the solid front porch. No trace of it. I don't know what happened. It's a beautiful church.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see those too many around anymore.
No,